Very good. Any questions from the previous session? Is there any question? If I'm not mistaken, we did up to this example. It is on page 112, exercise 4, from TOEFL exercise skill 6 to 8. Is there any questions so far? Good. If there is no question, let's try to attempt this test. Would you please just write your answers in chat box? Very good. Excellent. Well, let me ask a couple of you to unmute your mics. Ms. Mohammadi Sarvnaz. Good afternoon. Are you
Good
fine?
afternoon. Yes, thank
Very
you.
good. Did you? Thank you so much. I had a very hectic schedule these days, so yeah, I'm somehow confused with too much load of work.
I hope it gets easier.
Thank you so much. Well, Sarvnaz, will you please just help me answer this question? Do you have any other question from the previous sessions?
Not that I can think of right now. No.
Okay. What was your impression of the previous sessions?
It was a bit too new for me, but I don't think it's anything that is too confusing. At least not now.
Very good. So, did you have any chance to see the grammar this way, to analyze the grammar, see its components?
I did the exercises from the TOEFL book. I went over the slides. Maybe I didn't analyze it as I should have because I don't think I had any problems yet.
Okay,
I guess we'll find out.
Do you just resort on your linguistic intuition and based on your actually linguistic competence, you answer the questions, or you try to use this knowledge of grammar and try to analyze and see what is the reason behind any choice?
Yeah, so far I've been doing the latter, but since I think 2 sessions ago, I've been trying to kind of go by the book and try to analyze it. It hasn't been going as well as I would want it, but I think I'll be getting better, hopefully.
Okay. Do you have any chance with your other peers to talk about the class?
Unfortunately, no.
So you don't have any group to actually share your knowledge and give your feedbacks on the classes?
We do have a chat group, but I haven't been able to connect my Telegram. I don't know if everyone has been having this problem, but the connection bar on my phone has been kind of messy, so I haven't been able to connect.
Okay, so I would appreciate any comment, any feedback from any classes, because as a head of department, I'm very inquisitive to know how can I help you better. That is why I'm just asking these questions, and I want to help you more. And if there's something that I can be somehow instrumental for your improvement, so please just let me know. Let's just answer this actually this question. When we are answering the questions, I told you the comma is one of the important clues. If there is a comma in a sentence, and as you see, the sentence is declarative, it ends with a full stop, and there is a comma, only one comma. And this shows that immediately after the comma, if you have subject and then prepositional phrase is not significant, and then you see your verb, so it shows that you have an independent clause here. And there is no coordinate conjunction at the beginning. So what should I put here? I can have actually many choices. First of all, I can have modifying phrases which can function as an adjective. Then I can have prepositional phrases which can function as an adverb. Or I can have an adverbial clause. So let's see the choices. Number one, what is wrong with number one? Because your answer was number two. B was the best choice.
Yes.
You were the first one who answered this, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, go on. No, you were one of the students. Yeah, other students just answered this. Sina and Arif, Abulfaz, Sama, Tanin, Zainab, then Sarvnas. Okay, Sarvnas, why not you say?
I think because we need an adverb of some sort, because the second part I can't explain as well. As I said, I've been just
do you know why?
instinct.
You are just answering based on your linguistic intuition.
Yes.
But the linguistic intuition is for native speakers, because the grammar is their first language. For us, it is not a primary knowledge. It is the secondary knowledge. And this secondary knowledge by some linguists have been analyzed. So we have scientific linguistics or grammar and pedagogical grammar. And this pedagogical grammar comes from two schools of thought in the linguistics. One is descriptive, the other one is prescriptive grammar. So these two schools of thought in linguistics actually introduce different approaches for studying grammar. What we have in our books is called pedagogical grammar, and it's just a part of this actually linguistic grammar, which has been scientifically analyzed by the linguists. So when we learn this, okay, because we are learning, we are not acquiring when after the age of the puberty. So when we learn this, we just actually pick up or acquire just a part of this grammar. So we cannot resort to this as intuition. Sometimes we will not come up with the right choice. But if we analyze, we know that a comma in the sentence without any connector can be a comma splice. If you have choice A, you will have a subject, pumps is the subject, and have sucked function as the verb. And then groundwater is the complement, from below is the second complement. So subject, verb, complement, complement. So you see what we have here is two independent clauses connected with a comma. And this is a run-on sentence, one of the major errors of the grammar. That is the reason for actually eradicating this one. We can just tackle the problem by analyzing. Well, if you remember, so is one of the coordinate conjunctions. Coordinate conjunctions conjoin two independent clauses, but the conjunction comes before the last grammatically identical units. When you have two independent clauses, so comes immediately before the second, which is the last independent clause. That is why
Mhm.
bringing so at the beginning of the sentence is not acceptable. Okay?
Is it never acceptable? I mean, are there exceptions? Because I believe I've heard some sentences where conjunctions like so have come first. Are they always grammatically
Very
incorrect?
good question. According to academic writing, and the grammar we are studying right now is based on the written grammar for academic writing. Okay, it's not the spoken grammar. Spoken
Mhm.
grammar has some rules. Okay, based on the descriptive linguistics, it is acceptable to bring coordinate conjunctions at the beginning of the sentence. But according to the prescriptive grammar, which 30% of the books, I mean the pedagogical grammar comes from the prescriptive grammar. For next session, I will try to actually talk in details about these two schools of thought and give
Mhm.
you a picture of what linguistics is and how our field of study is related to applied linguistics. And so you will have a better picture next session. I will talk about this. Uh,
Okay, thank you.
okay, so uh, this is possible to bring so at the beginning of the sentence in spoken actually grammar. But in written grammar, it is not acceptable. And that is why we don't bring so at the beginning of the clause. That is the reason choice C is not acceptable. If you choose with palms, palms is the object of the preposition and sucked is the verb. So where is the subject? And if there is a subject, then what is the reason for having this comma here? Because this comma is a comma splice. And that is another reason for doing away with choice D. The only choices left is choice B, and that is the correct choice. Shows that we have as. Is it true?
Yes.
What is this as? Connector.
Yes.
Adverbial connector. It can be adverb of time, it can be adverb of the reason. So if you look at the chart on actually page 111, it can be an adverb of the manner as well. So you remember, uh, as can be the connector for time clauses, as can be the connector for cause clauses, and as can be the connector for manner clauses. Okay,
Mhm.
means like in that which is for manner, as in Heiske. So here, as palms have sucked groundwater from below, so it shows cause and effect. Some parts of the city have begun to sing. So this is a
Mhm.
cause and effect. So it's a cause connector. And as you see in any clause, like a sentence, we expect to have subject and verb. So this is the best choice. Excellent. Well, uh, Sarvnaz,
Yes.
would you just help me to read the next one?
Sure. Should I read
Well,
it aloud?
you read it, and I expect the other students to answer this question. All of you just
Um,
try to answer, and then again, Sarvnaz will help me to read this and answer. Go on, please, everybody.
case studies are the target of much skepticism in the scientific community, blank used extensively by numerous researchers. I think it's choice B.
Very good.
Yes,
Your
everyone.
answer is. Let's
Choice
just see what the other students answer. Yeah, choice D is the best choice, as the students just put it in the chat box. Very good. Why not choice A? And how did you come with choice D?
I think because the second part is showing a kind of opposing declaration to the first part. So they are would agree with the first part. I don't know if I'm making sense, but
That's good. But remember, when we want to analyze the sentence, I told you the commas are
yes, a sign
the
of
most
conjunction after.
important actually clues. So
Yeah.
in a sentence, what is the philosophy of putting these commas here? If there is a comma, there should be a reason. You see this verb here, and you see the subject. So the subject and verb are two important actually elements of any clause, any independent clause. Okay, so if we take the first part as an independent clause, then we see a comma, and then you see used, okay, which can function as the verb extensively by numerous researchers as the complement. So used extensively, an adverb, by numerous researchers. Again, this is prepositional phrase which can function as either an adjective or an adverb. Okay, so you have two complements here. The first complement, the second complement. Here you need subject and verb because there is a comma. If you put a subject and verb, what happens? Like this, subject and verb. You will have a comma splice and run-on sentence because two independent clauses are connected with a comma. So this is not acceptable. If you choose are used, so you have a verbal phrase and another verbal phrase, two verbal phrases connected with a comma, but we don't connect two verbal phrases. Are verbal phrase, are used verbal phrase, so they are not connected with comma, they are connected with coordinate conjunctions because conjunctions conjoin two grammatically identical units, so choice B is not acceptable. If I choose choice C, yet they used extensively. So case study can't use, okay? They are used, okay? So that is why choice C is not acceptable. And as you said, choice D is the best choice. This shows that the sentence is passive. And this by numerous, which shows we have this logical subject here, researchers. So here they is grammatical subject, which goes back to the case studies. But who did this comes here after the by and works as the object of the preposition. But in reality, it is the logical subject. In a sentence, we can have grammatical subject and logical subject. Sometimes grammatical subjects and logical subjects are the same, so the sentence is active. Sometimes the sentence has a grammatical subject, but the logical subject is missing or either it comes immediately after prepositional preposition by. So here we see the researcher as the logical subject. So this is the best choice, as you said. If we choose this, we will have a run-on sentence. Again, this doesn't make sense this is not acceptable. We have the subject and a verb, but immediately after the verb, we don't see the object. If this is an active, so we expect to see a noun here, but there is no noun. That is why choice C is not acceptable. Only choice D is acceptable, which shows it is a passive sentence. Thank you. Yes?
Could you please specify the parts of speech in the second part?
Okay, let me get back to the slide.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, I don't see the page. It's blank.
It's blank for me too. Oh.
This is slide 3, but when I get back to slide 2, it doesn't show up. Okay, I have to read from the book. What was the point?
The parts of speech in the second part.
Okay, so yet is a connector. Okay, they is a noun. Are used as a verb. Extensively is an adverb. By is a preposition. Numerous is an adjective. And researchers is a noun.
Oh, okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Let's go to the next one. Thank you, Sarvnaz. Let's ask Sogyan to join us. Sogyan Saifar. Everybody, please just attempt this question. Just answer the question number 3. Actually, according to the book, this is the question number 6. What is the best choice? Okay. Well, Sogyan's mic isn't working. Let's ask Sina Ibrahimi to join us.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon, Sina. Are you fine?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Great. Sina, will you please read the prompt and then go to the choices and see which one is the best choice?
Okay. According to the hypothesis in the study, the monarchs picked the magnetic field of the blank migrate by following magnetic fields.
Okay. What is your answer? Choice B.
What?
What is your answer?
Choice B.
Good. Why choice B? Why not choice A?
First off, we need a connector, a conjunction, because if we don't have it, we're gonna have 2 subjects and 2 verbs in the second clause.
Excellent.
In the last.
So as you see,
because of that, choice A and D are out.
Great. So I will come with choice C. But before that, please tell me what is the function of this comma. So the first thing is to look at the clues in the sentence. Okay, what are these clues? So there is a comma here. What does it mean? What does this show? It shows that according to is a preposition, and the hypothesis is the object of the preposition. Preposition plus the object of the preposition at the beginning of the sentence is an adverb. So good for nothing. In is a preposition. There is a non-marker. Study. Again, this is a prepositional phrase. So it shows that a prepositional phrase at the beginning of the sentence, which function as an adverb, can not modify the subject. That is why we set it off with a comma. So there should be a reason for any comma. So there is no need to be concerned about this part. This is extra. Now, we have the second part. What is the second part? There is a non-marker. Monarchs is the subject. Pick up is the verb, and there is a non-marker, so magnetic field. Field is the object of the verb. Of is a preposition. There is a non-marker, so immediately after the non-marker, you need a noun. So the target in all these four are, in these four choices, function as the noun. Okay, so here I have my noun. If I choose choice A, then I will have, and this noun is the object of the preposition. Okay, so then we have monarchs is the subject and migrate is the second verb. So this is the subject because the target here is the object of the preposition. Preposition plus the object of the preposition is an adjective which tells us which field. Magnetic field of the target. Okay, so far this is nothing to be concerned about. But here immediately you see the subject. Monarchs is the subject, it is plural, and the migrate is a verb. There is subject-verb agreement, but in a sentence you cannot have two subjects and two verbs without any connection. There is no connecting word, no connection. Okay? That is why choice A is not acceptable. If we go to choice D, again, we have this as the object of the preposition target, and then we have two verbs for one subject. That is why choice D is not correct. Either choice C or B is correct. If we choose choice C, you will have connector, then you will have subject, you will have the verb are, but immediately after are, we have another verb. So two verbs in a clause. This is verb. The first verb, and this is the second verb. So two verbs for one subject. And it is impossible to have this way. And we know that immediately after the be verbs, the verb should be either in the form of ing or past participle. So this is not possible. So here you see two verbs. This is not a verbal. And that is why choice C is not acceptable. The only choice is choice B. So since the connector, monarch is the subject and migrate is the verb. Yes?
What if we change that migrate into migrating?
Okay.
That way, choice C would be correct, right?
Well, good question. The monarchs pick up the magnetic field of the target, okay, since monarchs are migrating by following magnetic field. When you are using migrating, you don't mention that this is a permanent action. This is a temporary action. If you use the ing form, it shows that now they are in the middle of the action, and it is not the behavior of these animals to migrate according to this hypothesis. Okay, so this shows we are actually the meaning of the sentence changes because it shows it is temporary. Am I clear, Sina, Arif?
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Well, Sogand was not able to answer. Let's go to the next one. Sina, are you still there? Sina?
Yes,
Very good. Will you please read this one? And the other students, will you please just attempt this question? Try to answer the question. Go on.
Should I read first?
Yes, please. Go on.
Rank show the relations among neurons. They do not preclude the possibility that other aspects are important.
Okay. What is your choice?
C.
C. So what is the reason for choosing this?
First, choice B cannot be chosen because we need a plural, something plural, because if we choose B, then show has to have an S.
Very good. Because theory is singular, a theory, and neural is an adjective, and this is a noun, so it is the subject, so it cannot show any subject-verb agreement. That is why choice B is not, I'd apologize, choice B is not acceptable. But before that, you should just think of this. How many commas do you see in the sentence? Only one. When there is one comma in the sentence, there should be a reason for that comma. Immediately after the comma, you see the subject and verb. If there is a subject and verb, and there is no coordinate conjunction, one of the fanboys, it shows that this is the main clause. This is an independent clause. If we have an independent clause immediately after the comma and there is no coordinate conjunction, we cannot have subject and verb. This shows the subject and verb. This shows subject and verb. So this is the reason for doing away without reading. There is no need to read. And we never start the sentence with however, without comma. So however, comma is needed here. And that is why choice D is not acceptable. So there is no need to read. Just look at the clues and answer. There is a comma, no coordinate conjunction, subject and verb. So one independent clause. Here, if I put subject and verb, I will have a run-on sentence. This is a comma splice, so choice A is incorrect. Choice B is incorrect. However, requires a comma here. It is not correct. So again, if it is correct, then I will have subject and verb. Again, this comma will be a comma splice. So choice D is not acceptable. The only choice is choice C, and it has the connector, adverbial connector of contrast. So immediately after that, we have the subject and a verb, and there is an agreement between the subject and a verb. Theories is plural, show is plural verb. So choice C is correct. There is no need to read the choices. دوستان توی 3 ثانیه میشه 4 ثانیه میشه این رو به راحتی جواب داد. نیازی نیست شما سوال رو بخونید، فقط کانکترها. خیلی از بچه‌هایی که تو کارشناسی ارشد تو آزمون‌هایی که به هر حال مربوط به 4 گزینه‌ای هستن و قسمت گرامرش رو دارن پوشش میدن، خود دانشگاه علامه آزمون زبان دکتریش 50 تا سوالش گرامر از 100 تا، 30 تاش vocabulary هست و 20 تاش reading comprehension هست و 50 تا گرامر وقتی که درست بزنی دیگه شما اصلا already قبول شدی. به راحتی این 50 تا رو بدون اینکه اصلا آدم بخواد درگیر خوندن بشه و زمانش از دست بده، با نشانه ها میتونه تحلیل بکنه. خیلی از ما موقع خوندن زمانمون رو از دست میدیم، به خاطر اینکه خوندن سعی میکنیم روی فرم توجه بکنیم، معنا از دستمون میره. وقتی که به معنا توجه میکنیم نمیدونم فرم و تلفظ رو اشتباه انجام میدیم. بنابراین اینها کانفیوزینگه. از همون لحظه اول دنبال نشانه و تحلیل باشی، به راحتی میتونی جملت رو تشخیص بدی که کدام گزینه بهترین گزینه است و در کمتر از 4-5 ثانیه به پاسخ برسی. Okay, let's go to the next question. So, as you see, I have or. Or is one of the coordinate conjunctions. So it conjuncts two grammatically identical units. So either side should be the same. So refinanced. So here I should have something which is related to refinance. If I choose choice A, it is not acceptable because here a home is subject and verb, but here refinance. It is the past tense or it is the past participle. So there is no connection because is, if we take is as the verb and it is in the present tense, so refinance is if we take it as a verb but it is in the past tense, so there is no balance, so it is not correct, so it is not the verb. We cannot take it as a verb, so the choice A is not acceptable. If we choose choice B, what happens? In choice B, again, we have about or refinance. So in that case, it can be somehow tricky. We have the past participle or past participle. A home is bought or refinanced. So two past participle. It is possible, but immediately after the refinance, I see the comma and there should be a reason for this comma. If you see a noun, because there is a noun marker, lender is the noun, so it is the subject, and will, which shows the future tense, it shows that I have the second clause and one connector, and this connector is a comma splice in that case. So I am not allowed to conjoin two independent clauses with a comma, so choice B is not acceptable. If I choose choice C, okay, I can have a connector and then I will have the first subordinate clause, which is a kind of adverbial clause, and this adverbial clause requires a subject and a verb. If you take this refinance as a verb, you are not allowed to conjoin a verb to a noun. So or comes between two grammatically identical units, or like other coordinate conjunctions comes between two grammatically identical units. If this part is a noun, the other part should be a noun. So a home is a noun, so this part should be a noun, but finance is not a noun, and that is why choice C is not acceptable. But choice D, I have my subject, I have my verb, and this verb has two participles, and that is why choice D is the best choice. And there is no need to read the rest of the sentence. I didn't read anything. I have no idea what is written here. I only analyzed the test, and from my analysis, I can understand that why I should do with these choices. So through the process of elimination, you will come up with the correct choice, and the correct choice is a complex sentence. It has a subordinate clause connector, it has subject and verb, and then a comma comes, and then we have our main clause. Well, see you in the next one. I'm just expecting you to answer. Other people, will you please, students, answer this question? Question number 9. Sina, go on with this. Will you please read?
If ultraviolet radiation enters the Earth's atmosphere, blank, generally blocked by the ozone concentrated in the atmosphere.
Okay.
It should be choice B.
Very good. Your answer is correct. But I myself never read it. I told you to read. But when I ask you to read, you said there is no need to read. I want to analyze. I see a comma here, and I see a connector, conditional sentence connector here, and immediately after this, here I have noun and verb. So this is a clause. This is a clause of adverbial clause of actually conditional clause. Okay, so immediately after this, I need subject and verb. If I choose A, what happens?
There is no verb.
There is no verb, but I have a verb, blocked. Isn't it a verb? It is a verb, but immediately after this, I don't see the object because it requires a preposition. So here I have by the ozone. So the sentence is passive. It's not the active sentence. That is why I need a be verb. If I choose choice C, what happens? C has so. So is one of the coordinate conjunctions. It conjoins two grammatically identical units. When you are conjoining two independent clauses, you need to put a comma here. So in an independent clause, you have the subject and verb. You have the subject and verb. But the problem is here, the first part is not an independent clause. It's a subordinate clause. If shows that this is a subordinate clause, you cannot conjoin a subordinate clause to the main clause using so. So is the coordinate conjunctions. The two sides are grammatically identical. Then is not a connector. And here I will have a comma splice because in a sentence or in a clause, I can't have one subject and one verb and again another subject and verb. So the choice D is not correct. And as you said, choice B is the best choice. So through the process of elimination, you can come up with the correct choice. Sina again will help me with the last one. Sina, would you like to read it?
Okay, sure.
Would you like to read it or you want to analyze it?
How about I read it?
Okay.
And
go on.
Among human chromosomes, the Y chromosome is unusual. Blank. Most of the chromosome does not participate in the what?
Meiotic. Yeah, meiotic recombination. So there is no need to read when you come to the word which you don't know how to pronounce it. So it takes your time, it takes your attention. So as you said, there is a comma and there should be a reason for this comma. I look at the beginning. Among is a preposition. So this is a prepositional phrase. Nothing, adverb. So this part is good for garbage. So there's a non-marker Y chromosome. I found my subject. Chromosome is my subject. Is, I found my verb. So if you look at the rest of the sentence, you will see the chromosome doesn't participate. So I can't have one subject, one verb, one subject, and one verb. Two subjects and two verbs, and there is no connection. If I choose N, this is a prepositional phrase, so nothing is connected with this, okay, as a coordinate conjunction. So this is not the correct choice, because in most of the chromosomes here, you will have prepositional phrase, and then you will have the second verb for the subject. So the first subject, the first verb and the second verb. This is not correct. If I choose choice C, what happens, you know? Okay, we have background noise. Okay, سینا تو خشکشویی هستی؟ معمولا تو خشکشویی اینطوری بخار رو باز میکنن. This is the okay. Sina, I cannot choose choice C, and is a coordinate conjunction, so the two parts should be, I mean, the two sides should be grammatically identical. So this is not correct, and so again cannot conjoin these two parts. When you are using coordinate conjunctions and you have the subject and a verb, in that case, you need a comma here. So as you see, there is no comma here. So choice C and choice B are not correct. And you remember, in that is a connector, the connector of the manner. So we can just use this connector to actually conjoin two parts. As in Heiske, most of the chromosomes doesn't participate in meiotic recombination. So you have the most as the subject of the chromosome as the prepositional phrase which post-modifies most, and because the most is indefinite pronoun, so most here is a pronoun, is the subject, and most doesn't participate in. So we see in that as a connector is the great choice. When we have the main clause first and the subordinate clause next, there is no need for any comma here to set it off from the rest of the sentence. So my